What do Americans think is normal for everyone? But actually it's not normal for anyone but Americans. Attack ads against political opponents. Ads for law firms or lawyers. These kinds of ads are illegal and considered unethical in our country. Also expecting a teenager to be out of the house by the time they're 18. I live in Southeast Asia. There's no stigma about living with one's parents. Most of the time, there will be 3 generations living in one house. In the USA, it was illegal for lawyers to advertise their services until 1977. The change came from a Supreme Court decision in which some lawyers argued that advertising is free speech, covered by the First Amendment. Where did I learn this? An episode of Better Call Saul, believe it or not. In the show, the character of Chuck is a respected lawyer and legal scholar who believes very deeply in having high ethical standards. During an argument with Jimmy about ethics, he blurts out that only scumbag lawyers advertise on TV because the Supreme Court went crazy in 1977. I paused and looked it up. Being able to vote before reaching the legal drinking age. My maternity leave was an unpaid 6 weeks, and I had to fight them on not shorting me because I went past my due date and didn't keep working until the day I went into labor. This comment is very underrated. Maternity leave is a joke in the US, and you can forget about paternity leave. I know someone that went into labor while at work grocery store and she was back in a couple weeks because she used up her 2 weeks vacation. I'm never going to understand how Americans keep having babies when it seems like everything is so difficult concerning pregnancy, labor and children. Having to work up until you give birth, insane medical bill from giving birth, barely having recovered from labor until you have to go back to work, insane child care costs, etc. I mean, in my country you can't even put a baby that's younger than 9 months old to daycare. The idea of going back to work when your baby is only a few weeks old is crazy to me. Not to mention having no safety nets if you have children and happen to get sick or lose your job. Calling the main course an entree. Asking everyone what do you do when you first meet them. I live outside the US and realized there are some people I've known for years and I still don't know their job. I think in the US jobs are a bigger part of a person's identity than in some other places. We also do that in France. Tu fais quoi dans la vie? Which literally means what do you do in life? XD. That the entire traffic has to stop when a school bus stops. I've seen this a few times on r/idiots and cars, and there is always a debate about how it's not normal outside of the US. Having only 2 parties, Republicans and Democrats. I know there are some smaller parties, but the system is stacked against them. I've heard someone say that we are the only ones who drink out of solo cups. Canadians do too, and in Europe when some younger people play beer pong they get them for authenticity. Other than that, yes, North Americans are the only ones as far as I know. I don't even know what a solo cup is. Are most cups intended for one person? Lol. Extra large bottomless cups for cola or soft drinks. You could bathe in those. Started this topic thinking of reality TV about paternity court cases with the little children present as a trophy for winning. But I remember the other day a Redditor saying they thought all schools had copes at school and it was a regular thing. I thought this could be an eye-opening topic then. Campus police is what got me. I imagined the protest students in Germany would put on if any kind of police would have a permanent residency at the campus. Wait, schools in other places don't have copes at school. Actively avoiding healthcare visits/checkups because if there's something wrong you don't have the money to pay for treatment and you'd rather just not know. Just dealing with preventable and curable diseases instead of seeking medical attention out of fear of crippling debt. Casually driving a couple hours. Cars are so ubiquitous and stuff is so spread out a lot of the time we don't even think about travel in distance but instead in driving time. Driving 2 hours on a weekend for random day trip doesn't seem like anything of note. Driving 8 hours is a long trip but not really a huge deal.